Hi everyone, this is Grace and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn how to decorate this You Are Loved plaque cookie. So first up, I am starting by outlining and flooding the cookie. This is a pretty large cookie. You can see it based on that paper towel square there. So when I'm doing a really large cookie, I prefer to do a 2 consistency outline and flood. I do that because I can do a much thinner flood that way, and thinner floods are better in my opinion for larger cookies because since it's a larger cookie, it obviously just takes you naturally longer to flood the whole surface. And sometimes if you're using too thick of a flood, by the time you get to the end of flooding, it has already started to crust, and sometimes that can really mess with making sure that you're getting a nice, flat, beautiful surface. So I outlined the cookie first with a piping consistency. I do let that dry. I think that's important to let it dry. It is more stable when it's dry. When it's wet, you can still move it around. Now, I will say there is an exception to that. If you're using a really thick piping consistency, like a stiff peak to outline, sometimes when you do that and then it dries, then the outline can actually kind of flake off the cookie while you're flooding, and that's its own little disaster of its own. But just something to keep in mind, that it still can budge, it still can move once it's dry. So this consistency here is just immaculate perfection. And I say that because you can see it's already settling on its own. I probably did give it a little bit of a jiggle to help it settle, but it's just, oh, it's so perfect. So I allow that to dry mostly. I'm going to be doing a lot of piping on top of it, so I want to make sure that it is pretty solidly dried. I would say, a couple of hours after it's had a jump start in the dehydrator, or maybe more than a couple hours if you're just using a fan to dry. So the first little detail I'm doing here is pressure piped hearts around the edge. And this is a really simple little design that I like to do a lot because it's easy and it's effective and it's cute, and that's kind of my style for the most part, cute. So a pressure piped heart means that I am adjusting the pressure on the bag as I'm piping. That's the whole concept of pressure piping. And so what it is I am basically piping a bead and then pulling away and releasing pressure as I'm pulling away. Once you get the hang of it, it's easy, but it can be a really hard kind of concept to grasp. And I would suggest really starting slowly and working your way up to moving faster. But again, it's like you're piping a bead, and then as you're simultaneously releasing pressure, then you're pulling away from that bead. So this is actually one of my older cookies that I've done, but I really wanted to do a video of this now because it's one of the rare times that I have actually freehanded my lettering completely. Now that I have a projector, I will say that maybe sometimes I'm a little too reliant on my projector, because anytime I do lettering, I want to use it. And if I don't use my projector these days, I feel like I've gotten so out of touch with freehanding that it's just kind of a hot mess express. But here I am. I picked, I think, some relatively easy words here to letter out, and I certainly planned this. I did a couple of practice runs with the shape of the cookie and piping it on, I'm not sure if I was using paper or parchment paper or whatever, but I think it's important, especially if you're doing freehanding, that you practice beforehand. And something else I wanted to show you is how I'm piping this right now. So this was my kind of fake it till you make it pressure piped lettering before I really knew how to pressure pipe. This was a point in time where I was not comfortable doing actual pressure piping lettering, but I wanted that look. And what I mean by that is, you see that first outline that I'm doing of the lettering, it's all with one consistency because I didn't quite get the hang of adjusting the pressure on my bag as I was piping. And this works here where I go back through and I do a thicker pipe on the downstroke because I'm using a thin enough icing here for that to kind of melt into each other. And if I had to guess, this is actually probably a bit softer than a soft peak, a bit thinner, I should say, than a soft peak. So just an idea if you're really struggling with this whole pressure piping concept, but you like the look. This is what I did here. And, you know, the way I'm doing these letters, there's not a real science to it, I would say. I just wanted to fill the space nicely. And I looked at this and I was like, you know what, it needs a little bit more to help fill the space to make it look intentional. So that's when I added in these extra little doodads on the rest of the surface. These weren't planned out. I was just continuing on with kind of the pressure piped concept. So these little teardrops is exactly what I'm doing on the hearts. I'm just connecting them when I do the hearts, but these are just standing on their own. And, you know, do what you need to do to finish a design. Sometimes I come up with something and I maybe execute it exactly, but sometimes I execute it and then I look at it and I go, you know what? It could use something else. And that's okay. You know, fly by the seat of your pants, adjust in the moment. And as you do this more, as you decorate more, you'll get more and more comfortable adjusting in the moment. This is, you know, this is one of the first cookies I ever did, but it's still one of my favorites that I've ever done. It's simple, but it's really sweet. So I let that lettering dry completely, and that's important when painting lettering, that you let it dry completely. At least for me, I've had some major disasters. If I hadn't let the lettering dry, like it has caved in, it has cratered really badly. So just keep that in mind. I am painting here with highlighter dust. Now, my earlier videos, you'll see I used to use a lot more highlighter than I do now. And now I'm a bit more educated on this, and I tend to use more edible dusts, edible metallic dusts. I will say that, that the edible dusts out there just can't quite match the brilliance of highlighter. A lot of decorators still use highlighter, cookie decorators, cake decorators. So do your research, figure out what's right for you. I will link both the highlighter that I'm using and an edible alternative. Both with the highlighter and with the edible dusts, I always combine it with the highest proof Everclear. It's really, really, really important when you're doing any sort of metallic that you're using a high proof alcohol. Even some vodka doesn't work. And the reason it needs to be a high proof alcohol is because that high alcohol content means that the liquid evaporates quite quickly. So that's really important. It also gets you the best color. Some people do use, they'll use like extracts, like vanilla extract. I've personally never done that. I've always just used Everclear and I've had great success. Another tip here is you'll see that I lettered the same color as the flood, and that's a good trick, especially just to give yourself a break, but also if you're not that confident with painting, because it is almost impossible to completely paint letters. So by piping in the same color as the flood, if you miss a spot, it's way less noticeable because it just blends in with the flood. Now, something I'm going to show you here is what I never show in my fast, in my sped up videos, and that is the extra painting all around the edges. So in the fast videos, you just see me painting that first coat on the surface, but then especially for thicker letters like this, I'll go around and make sure I'm actually getting all of the sides of the lettering. You want to use a pretty small brush like I'm using here, and a pretty short brush. I find that if you use a brush that is too long, you can get, it just feels a little less, I don't know if stable is the right word. And sometimes I can get too much liquid in the brush, which if you've ever done painting, you know that there's a fine balance of how much liquid to get in your brush, because if there is not enough, obviously it won't paint very well, but if there's too much, the second you tap that brush down on the letter, it will just spill out into a pool. It will even spread sometimes to the flood surface, and it is really hard to get any sort of metallic dust off of a cookie, whether it is dry or wet. So just something to keep in mind. Also, something to keep in mind is painting letters takes a long, long time. So if you're doing these for sale, always recommend charging more. If you're painting the letters, you get what you pay for. And also just keeping in mind it's going to take a lot more time. So don't do an entire set of painted letters. Do yourself a favor here. This is where the real patience and meticulousness comes in here. I mean, come on. This hurts my soul a little bit, even just watching this. Nowadays, it depends on the set, I guess, and what I'm doing, whether I would go through this much painstaking painting. But in this case, I only made a couple. I think I made 2 of these cookies. So I was willing to put the extra time in. Last piece of advice on the painting front, a lot of people ask all the time, like, what kinds of brushes should I be using? I just use paint brushes that I get from the craft store, but please do not use brushes that you've used before with non-edible things. Get brand new brushes. I will link some in the description of the video. I have a few different ones, variety of sources, variety of shapes, sizes. I think maybe the most important thing I've found is that I just prefer now a plastic handle instead of wood, just because I find that it splinters when it's wood. Well, I hope you've had fun watching that. Hope you learned a thing or two, and maybe one day you'll make this yourself, but always know, my friends, you are loved.